Alright, here is what I wanted to show you. This is Michael Douglas excited to portray horny founding father. So this is Jimmy Dore show, and this is basically the show dedicated to Tucker Carlson. And this is not once or twice, it just was split in parts, as I believe. And this is not just once or twice that I saw this. So, like, oftentimes when they show this Tucker Carlson guy, they also show this Franklin guy. And dollar sign. So, I didn't know first what it is about. I couldn't find all these news shows I show recently, so it's either they do it on purpose or it's the way this artificial intelligence works, this synchronicity. But I wanted to say that they basically show this Benjamin Franklin guy all the time on TV now as a dollar sign, because they are also propping up this Tucker Carlson guy. And they do it because he's probably his descendant. So Tucker is descendant of this guy, Benjamin Franklin. So it's exactly the same chin, this on a nose bridge. They have a Roman profile. What's a Roman profile? This is like the nobility of Rome. They have these noses. When they have the nose bridge, basically their nose goes from their between their eyebrows, and normal people have like a gap where they have like this straight line. So that's what the Roman profile is. So this is what this Tucker Carlson has, and he pretends to be some orphan adopted at some place or something like that. Like his mother was 15 years old. Probably some part of it is really true, because in this Roman family there was this inbreeding going on. So I think that they are propping him up on the top because he's the guy, he's a bloodline, he's kind of a prodigy, a Renaissance man, genius, like, they have this both parts of the brain activated. He's dyslexic, and I think they want this blood, the power of his blood, to return the might to the almighty dollar. While this Russian president administration, I think that they were asked by Pentagon or whatever, what would they do to negotiate the peace deal in the Ukraine so that they can exit this war somehow, because it's a total disgrace to Pentagon and the US military. And the people would just quit military in the United States and quit contracts if they are to fight with Russia. So basically I wanted everybody to know that never believe their biographies and what they tell you about themselves. These people in power, these people in positions of celebrity. And what it looks like to me, or so I gathered this impression like some time ago, that they were showing this Putin's love interest, this gymnast girl, and how she had a son by him, and how she had twins by him. And this was all shown by the British in their British newspapers, and they were plastering the photographs of that woman pregnant with twins because it was a huge belly. And they also had this boy that really looked like him, standing somewhere on the balcony. So I heard some clairvoyants saying that, this Putin guy back in 2020 got real grief, and that made his eyes open, that enlightened him, and he like turned around by 180 degrees. Okay, he turned around, he became enlightened, and he woke up. So probably the British have killed his son and then these two twins, because after these photos shown by the British, I've never seen them again, like them being older. So probably they killed either his son, which is older, or two of his twins who are younger, or all three of them at once. And that's experience that made him really wake up. And when they were showing these photos with his lover and so on, they were taunting him. That's what they were doing with him. They were taunting him. They murdered him, his children, and they were taunting him about this, because they were like demonstrating this is what we can do. Anyways, I tried to make a video yesterday about predictions. This was basically how people trash the water, and the water has spirit, it's alive, like the air and the earth, and you're not supposed to desecrate it, and how Japanese do it and how the British do it. Anyways, I didn't have a voice. I was choked by coughing, and they do something with me. These horrible snakes, they do rituals on me, I believe, so that I would get sick and desperate and whatnot. But this is what I wanted to tell them. You fucks don't understand that I want to die like every other day since you killed my man, since you made my son invalid. Every other day I ask God to take me, because I understand that suicide is some kind of terrible sin, so I have to be stuck here with you, and you disgust me, you fucking CIA, MI6, FBI, Illuminati, inbred Mormon shills. I don't want to be here with you because you disgust me, okay? And I'm having this conversation with God that I don't want to leave, and I don't want anything this earth can bring me, because this piece of shit with broken cunt is not in prison. she's leaving now. She murdered my man and she's living in his home, and they cover up for her with her creature children. And this ex-wife, I just want her to be in prison, and I want to live in that house where she lives, pretending to be a widow of my man. And I'm telling God, I don't want anything. I just want to die. I want you to take me, because I don't want to live in this world where this broken cunt, this evil, disgusting piece of shit is not in prison. So next point I wanted to make was about so I'm not afraid of your fucking spells that you make on me, like the death spells. I want to die, you motherfucking losers. I want to die really badly, okay? So anything you can throw my way is that, you know, I want God to take me with my child, because living like this when your brain is damaged, where no girl will ever love him, to live without love, to live without your soulmate or even a chance to meet, to try for a soulmate, to find your true love, not somebody you're comfortable with, not just somebody you want to fuck, but somebody who is opposite than you, your real twin flame. It's not worth living in this existence without love, okay? And the next thing I wanted to say, I was having this conversation with at my job with auditor, and she's like a super intelligent person, and we were talking to each other, and she just widowed and had her husband, she lost her husband to COVID a year before. So she said, I went to the cinema and I watched this movie, Master and Margarita, which every Russian loves. This is a novel by this Ukrainian author, Bulgakov guy, Michael Bulgakov. And I say, but you have read the book probably several times. You have watched the movie, other versions. You have watched the play in the theater. Are you really interested in this movie? Why didn't you go to see this movie about, World War II, women in their Air Force that called the air or something like that? You didn't. The battles in the air, the airplanes. And she said, no, I'm not interested in this. And I said, why? And she said, if there is no love in the movie, then I'm not going to watch it. That's it. I'm not going to go to the cinema. I'm not going to follow any story that has no love in it. Okay? So I wanted to talk about how Africa is going to rise, and how Africa, this is my prediction, is going to reach these tremendous amounts of luxury, and how they're going to literally, where they have these poor markets and starvation and trash everywhere, how instead of these civil wars and poverty and malaria, how instead they are going to have streets paved with gold, Once they realize that there is no future over there, overseas, they are going to, once they realize who their real enemies are, which is French, once they take out every single French person out of there, they will reach their destination. They also must realize the cause of slavery, why they were sold into slavery into the Caribbeans, into this by these pirates of Caribbean, the British monarchy, the East Indian Company. This is what it was called, because sometime before that they practiced these dark arts, the magic. So basically, if you make a spell, okay, if you make a spell, if you make a love spell, and this is what the witches do, and warlocks as well, okay, warlocks, the best cooks are men, and the best warlocks are also men. So if you practice this type of magic, where you do love spells, where you make a person's will submit, when you bend somebody's will and you tie them to yourself, you lock them in the jar, you make them drink your period blood, you go to the cemetery and you make a pact with the dead to force them to be with you. You are making a contract for your future generation. So your children or your grandchildren most likely will become bad servants or slaves. That's the cause of this problem. Don't do this magic where you make a man love you against their will. This is very important, very important. When you make these love spells, you essentially bend their free will, because I understand that you love them, but when you practice this sort of magic, you selling out your future generation, your descendants, your grandchildren. The consequences will be that your grandchildren will become slaves or servants, very bad, indebted servants. Anyways, I wanted to tell people about my funny dream, because they're talking about Nazis and they're talking about Ukraine and Germany and Russia fighting. It's a civil war, because it's essentially the same type of folks, okay? And in the end times, when there will be World War III and there will be fight against Antichrist, this fight will be on the territory of Turkey. Well, actually Turkish are the ones who very cruelly invade other people's land. So most of the territory belongs to Armenians and Greeks and Kurds. And once again, this will be the war. And now Turkish practically invaded Germany with their immigration. So most immigrants in Germany, I believe, are Turkish. And the same thing happens in when there will be war, World War III, and Russia will be fighting China and Turkey, when there will be war for Constantinople, which is now called Istanbul, where there will be war in Bosphor, Germany will be on the Russian side. So once again, Germany will be united with Russia, and Germany and Russia are the same root. Once just pilgrimed, migrated to Europe, but this was one folk at some point. So I wanted to talk about my very funny dream. Once I had very bizarre dream. So this was about me. I was having these nightmares, like a flashback in a previous lives, where I was trying to hide from the Nazis from killing me, where I was trying to play dead. Anyways, this was me watching those World War II movies, where I was watching about concentration camps and whatnot, and how I would, so automatically I would think, like, watching these movies, how would I behave if I were Jewish? So automatically then I would go to bed and I would have these flashbacks into previous life or whatnot, and I would think that I would hide there, I would play dead. That's how I would survive. This would be my strategy of surviving in these massacres, in concentration camps and whatnot, playing dead. So anyways, once I fall asleep and I find myself in this headquarters of Ahnenerbe. So they do all kinds of experiments with people over there in the Nazi Germany, specifically with the twins. And I find myself behind the bar of the radiator, so I am hiding behind the wall, and I see how Ahnenerbe guys, this was special unit that was dealing with ancestry and aliens and Buddhism, temples and whatnot. And I find myself watching them doing some stuff. And I thought that I was hiding from them behind this radiator. I was hiding like a mouse. They show like the mouse hiding behind the wall in Tom and Jerry movie. And at some point I realized I was in a dream, and that this was my soul traveling, and I thought that they wouldn't touch me, so I was watching them, and then suddenly they see me and they grab me, and I'm trying to explain to them in German, and I studied German, but I cannot speak it, because once I pass any exam I would totally forget about this. I was just like a file erased. Like, I would pass exams in college, and once I passed the exams I would totally erase all this language from my head. And in my dream I suddenly tapped into all that I ever learned, and I was speaking to them in German. And I was trying to explain to them that I'm from the future, and I'm here by some accident, by some time continuum fracture, and that I have nothing to do with this, and I'm from a different timeline, and I'm here by total accident. And I'm trying to explain all of this to these Germans from Annenerbe because I'm trying to make them not to torture me because I'm suddenly in flesh there. And I understand that they see me and they grab me, and I'm wearing a nightie, and I don't want them to, torture me or make experiments with me or anything like that. And they say this about me. They say in German, this is the mother of a future king of Germany. And they lay me on the table, on this silvery table, which is also very scary because it looks like this alien when they do this stuff to you, when they abduct you and they put you on this table like they show in the movie. So Anna Nerbe was doing just the same stuff, and they put me on this table and they talk about me like I'm the mother of the future king of Germany, König, they say. And they make me bend my legs and they do something with my spinal cord, and I don't feel any pain. And then suddenly I return back to my body and to my sleep. So they did some kind of, in my dream, they did some kind of operation on me. So this was so damn funny. So this whole stuff, I think that the worst thing they can do with you is to prolong your torture. And this is what happens to my son. It's been just 10 years of torture and torture and torture. And I wanted to say I believe they have this treatment, they have this antidote, they have had it this whole time. And this whole time they have been watching my son suffering. They tapped into my devices, and that's what kind of scum they are. And that's what kind of karma they are accumulating. The more my son suffers, the more shit they will get onto their shoulders, because they have no right to watch my son and not help him. And that's how their children are going to pay for what they're doing to me now. This unrepentant shit, this broken cunt, and they're covering up for the broken cunt, this inconsolable widow who poisoned my man, and they know it. And they think that they are going to get away with it. No, you are not going to get away with it. You are going to hell, and then your children are going to suffer. That's my message to you, okay?